Okay, guys, we're doing lesson 81. We're going to use natural logarithms today. Stick with me.
Flack math! Give me some math and I'll give you some flack. Flack math!
All right, lesson 81. We're going to talk about natural logarithms and their properties. Okay, well, first, let's get a review of what logarithms are. So if we had an exponential equation here, for example, if b to the x equals a, so we could transform this into a logarithmic equation that looks like this. Log base b of a equals x. So logarithms are just another way to write exponential expressions. When you see this, you're asking yourself, okay, what exponent do I apply to b to get a? Well, x, all right? So remember, like if we used a real example, if 3 squared equals 9, we could say log base 3 of 9 is 2, okay? What exponent do you apply to 3 to get 9? 2. All right, instead of these, we're gonna use the constant e. E is a constant representing Euler's number, and it's around 2.718-ish. But we use this number in a lot of exponential growth functions and finances and things like that. But when we use it in logarithms, instead of saying log base e of something, we just write ln, okay? So that implies we're not gonna write out the O and the G and the little e. We're just gonna say ln, which stands for natural log. If we wrote this out this way, so e of x equals a, then basically instead of saying log base e of a equals x, we're just gonna say ln, or natural log of a is x, okay? So this is called a natural. Whenever we're finding the log base e of something, we're finding the natural log of something. So we talked about inverse functions of logarithms. So we're gonna do that today, but with the constant e. So we're gonna do inverse natural log functions. Okay, so here's our first inverse property. So e with an exponent of natural log of x equals x. And natural log of e to the x equals x. Well, let's take that apart a little bit. Let's look at this one first. Remember, natural log is just log base e. Well, log base e of e to the x equals x is saying that, well, what exponent do you apply to e to get e to the x? Well, e to the x. E to the x, right there. Let's just convert this to a logarithmic function. So log base e of x equals natural log of x. That's what that's saying. Well, log base e is just natural log, so natural log of x equals natural log of x. That makes sense. All right, this is the inverse property of logarithms right here. Okay, so let's just apply this to some examples. So example 1, e to the natural log of p equals what? Well, if I look at this guy right here, this guy is just the answer to that problem. So that means this is gonna be p, okay? Example 2, let's simplify this. Natural log of e to the 3c squared plus 1. What does that equal? Well, let's look over here. Well, it looks like this guy is just what that is. So we're just gonna write 3c squared plus 1. Pretty simple. All right, let's move on. These are some more properties of natural logarithms. Natural logs. Here's the product property. Says, natural log of a times b equals the natural log of a plus the natural log of b. Do you remember when we had our product rule for exponents and things like that? What do you do with the exponents when you multiply x squared times x to the third? Well, you add the exponents. So it makes sense that those would be similar types of properties for logarithms. So this has to be for any positive a and b. Okay, here's the quotient. Well, guess what this is going to do? If you add when you multiply, then you're probably going to subtract when you divide. So the natural log of a over b equals the natural log of a minus the natural log of b for any positive a and b's. All right, the third one is the power property. Do you guys remember what you did when you had a power raised to a power? You multiplied the exponents. So it's going to be similar to that. So if you have natural log of a to the p, this would be p times the natural log of a. Okay, and so this is for any positive a. And real number p. So p doesn't have to be positive. All right, let's look at example 2. And we're going to apply some of these properties. So we are going to rewrite each of these as a sum or difference of terms if possible. Okay? So natural log of 6e. All right, well, multiplication rule, product property says if you're taking the natural log of a product of two things, then that is just natural log of 6 plus natural log of e. Okay? Well, what's the natural log of e? Well, what exponent do you apply to e to get e? Well, this is just 1. So the natural log of e is always 1. Because e to the 1 equals e. Does that make sense? All right. Okay, b. Natural log of 3e divided by, so we're going to use our quotient rule, x. And we're going to use our product rule. So this means natural log of 3e minus the natural log of x. Well, what's the natural log of 3e? That's a product. So natural log of 3 plus natural log of e minus natural log of x. Okay? Well, we can simplify this a little bit farther and say the natural log of e is just 1. So natural log of 3 plus 1 minus natural log of x. That's as far as we can go. Okay? Let's try a couple more. Natural log of e to the 5x squared. Okay? This is the power rule, so let's put this out in front. So 5x squared times natural log of e. Well, what's the natural log of e? That's just 1. So final answer, 5x squared. All right, last one. Natural log of parenthesis, bring it on. We're not afraid of you. Crazy. Very detailed example. Okay, one step at a time. I see a power rule. I see a multiplication, a product rule, and a quotient rule. Okay, so let's do the power first. So this is going to be 2 times the natural log. Then we have this quotient there. So, but let's just do it one step at a time. 2x cubed over e to the 4th. So whenever you have a power, you can just bring it out in front and multiply it. So this is 2 times this thing. Well, this thing is a quotient, right? So we've got natural log of 2x cubed minus natural log of e to the 4th. All right, so far so good. So we have to keep these in parentheses because this is 2 times this whole thing. Well, this whole thing represents this. Okay, so now we're gonna do this guy. Now it's very important to see here that this 3 is only applied to that x, okay? So this 3 is not an exponent of this whole thing. Unlike here, this 2 is an exponent of this whole expression, so we could put it out in front like that, but we can't put this 3 out in front because it only applies to the x. So we have to separate it first. So this is natural log of 2 plus natural log of x cubed. This is the product rule, okay? Minus, well, this you can put out in front because it applies to this whole thing that is natural log of e to the 4th, 4 times natural log of e, okay? All right, now we can take this and put it out front there. So then we get 2 times natural log of 2 plus 3 times the natural log of x minus 4 times, well, what's that? That's just 1. Natural log of e is 1. So now we're going to distribute this 2. So we get 2 times the natural log of 2 plus 6 times the natural log of x minus 8. Boom. That was kind of fun. Just a little puzzly problem we had to work out. Step by step. I love the step by steps. When the steps are easy, because we just follow these rules, these properties, and then you get to this one final solution, which doesn't really look any better than the original, but it was cool. We were able to apply the properties. Okay, this next part, we're gonna go back to when we talked about exponential growth. So our exponential growth function looks like this. A equals P times E to the RT. So remember, A stands for amount. So like this is finances, the amount. P stands for the principal amount. E is our constant for our rate of growth. And then RT, R stands for rate and T stands for time. So this gives you the amount where interest is compounded continually, not where it's like quarterly. E it's constant, it's constantly compounded, okay? So that's where that E comes from. This is what happens when interest or growth happens continuously, okay? So this leads us to some natural base functions. All right, first one, n of t equals n at 0, or the original amount, times e to the kt. Katie, that's my wife's name, KT. Used to call her K period, T period, because if I said KT, it just sounds like Katie, but I wanted to let her know that I was pronouncing her name by spelling it KT, not Katie. Anyway, it was a thing we did. Cute. We're older now. So K just stands for a constant, okay? So this represents exponential growth, okay? This guy represents exponential decay. So let's do our last example here, example 3. Here's what it says. Thallium is a radioactive substance that can be injected into blood as part of a health test for the heart. It is then tracked through the bloodstream by a special camera. Thallium has a half-life of 73.1 hours. This is real sciencey. How long will it take for 1 gram of thallium to decay to 0.1 gram? Okay, let's figure it out. Step 1, here we go. First, we have to find the constant for thallium. Well, how do we do that? Well, let's write the natural decay function. N of t equals n at 0 times e to the kt. K period, t period. Okay, let's plug in what we know. So since it's half-life, we're going to put 0.5 equals the starting rate. So we're going to say 1 e to the negative because it's a decay. K times 73.1. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the natural log of both sides. So natural log of 0.5 equals natural log of e, because 1 times anything is itself, to the negative 73.1 k. Okay. All right, let's apply some inverse properties here. So basically, natural log of 0.5 equals negative 73.1 k. So remember, e to any natural log of e to the anything is that anything. Now we're going to solve for k. So we're just going to divide both sides by negative 73.1. So k equals natural log of 0.5 over negative 73.1. And you can just plug that into your calculator, and that is approximately 0.00948. And there's your k. All right, now the question asks, how long will it take for 1 gram of thallium to decay to 0.1 gram? All right, well, let's plug it in here. So here's step 2. So let's put our decay function up there. So n of t equals n at 0 times e to the negative kt. All right, so we want to know when it will get to 0.1. So n at 0 was 1, and then e to the negative k, which now we know is negative 0.00948, all times t. So we're going to solve for t. All right, well, let's see if we can do that. So let's take the natural log of both sides. So the natural log of 0.1 equals natural log of, well, this 1 goes away. So e to the negative 0.00948 t. Okay, so remember when we have a natural log of e to the something, it just equals that something. So natural log of 0.1 equals negative 0.00948 t. Now we just solve for t. Divide both sides by negative 0.00948, and we get, let's see, plug that into your calculator, and we get 242.9-ish hours. It's a long time. Okay, so there was a nice little sciencey example. So follow these 2 steps when you're asked to do that. All you're doing is just plugging it into those functions. Keep in mind those inverse properties and those other properties of natural logs, and you'll do just fine. All right, good job.
Black man!